Wurst. This is so exciting. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, I first met you last year
Yeah.
at Eurovision.
Yes.
Because randomly my husband was performing in
Oh,
Eurovision.
exactly. Yeah.
But you were the reigning champion of
Oh, wow.
the 2014. You got the crown.
Yeah.
You were the winner. It was
Did
amazing.
you enjoy it?
Oh, we had the best time.
Oh, great.
The best time.
Great.
I ate so many Wiener Schnitzels. It's ridiculous.
Beautiful.
I came back 10 pounds every year.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. No, but you look gorgeous. So.
Oh, thank you. And look at you. Oh my gosh, you are ever the stylish star.
Yeah.
Are you a tea drinker?
I am, here's the deal. I pretend to be a very healthy person, so I really want to get rid of too much sugar, too much coffee and whatever. So I drink black coffee, which I think is awful. Then I found out that tea is also an option.
Well, we're going to have some peppermint tea.
Perfect.
And that's good
which
for your
is
tummy.
Perfect,
just
exactly.
in case.
Yeah.
Now, on Tea with Jules, we like to kind of back it up a little. Like, we know you're sitting here today, you're an author, you've got an album out, you're a beautiful singer. My gosh, your voice is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Of course, the Eurovision champion of 2014. Yeah. But there's much, much more to you than that. Tell me a little bit about your childhood and how you grew up.
Well, I grew up in my opinion, a fairy tale surrounding, in the mountains of Austria, so very cheesy, and always surrounded by love and friends and a very supporting family. So I really had a beautiful childhood, and I always start out with that because people tend to, put the victim card to me. Like, oh my God, poor you, had you. But, so I started out like, I really had a great time. I always was surrounded by many people that liked me. And, I just love to entertain people like as long as I can remember. And I think it started to become a little tough when you are a teenager. But I think, being a teenager itself is just not fun. There's so many things going on in your head, with your body, and then you find out about certain things in life, and all of a sudden all the kids got a word for this weird boy dressing up as a girl and all that stuff. So that really was the time when I struggled a bit, because I was totally insecure when I figured out that I'm gay. I thought that there's something wrong with me because society told me so. But once I got over that, and I understood that, being gay is not a problem, and it's not a decision either.
How did you get over that? What was there a process or?
Well, yeah, it was a process. I think just embracing it and understanding that not I'm the mistake. The opinion of the society is the problem. And once I found that out, I really just, nothing could ever hurt me.
How old were you when you had that revelation?
Well, I think it was about 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But even though I felt quite confident, I didn't came out to my parents till the age of like 17. So that was still, you carry it around with you, this lie and not really being honest to them when you go out or whatever.
So from when you were 12 to when you were 17, did your parents have any idea that was going on? They did, yeah. Okay.
My grandmother always used to talk to my parents when I was about 6 and 7. And when they were talking about, oh my God, we don't know, what's his girlfriend will look like, and my brother as well. And, they were just talking about, oh my God, we're going to be grandmother and grandfather one day. And my granny was like,
she knew.
Well, I think with the one, yes. With that one, I'm not sure, So she's really a very cool lady, But my parents were raised in a very conservative way. So I would not blame them by having, not really a problem, but struggling with it. Because, obviously, it's another generation. And so I came out to my parents in a really not recommendable way. I started being on TV when I was 17 in Austria. I gave a few interviews, and one of those interviews turned into, what about your love life? And in this situation, I thought, well, there are two ways to go. Whether lie or be as authentic as I could be. And I made the decision to just be in myself 100%. So I did that interview, and it would be released like one week ahead of the actual conversation. And so I went home and I told my parents, hey, there's something I have to tell you. I'm kind of more into men. And they were like, well, yeah. And then I said, you know what? But next week, all of Austria, they can read that. And that was the problem.
Right.
That was the problem because my parents, they own a little hotel. And they thought that the opinion of others is more important than their own. So they really struggled with the fact that, out everywhere. And that was the moment when my grandmother came and everybody was crying, it was drama. And she came in and she grabbed my hand. She said, we have to go because you need to go on TV. And she turned around like in the last second before she left the house and pointed to my parents and said, and you two, keep it cool. And then we left. That was it.
What a cool grandmother.
Yeah. She loves so much what I'm able to do. Actually, she thinks she's famous now.
Does
yeah.
she?
Yeah, because she was on some events with me, and now she's getting
loving
her
it.
picture taken with fans, and she really enjoys that. Yeah.
So nice. You know what I love about you is your message, and I don't know if this is if it was something you meant to do or just kind of who you are. Your songs Rise Like a Phoenix and Unstoppable, like this has such a positive drive behind it.
Out of the ashes seeking rather than vengeance. You believe you are unstoppable.
And the fact that I've heard you say you've got one life, you better make it fabulous, and you're all about peace and freedom. And was that something that you meant to do, or was it something that just comes naturally out?
Well, I've always been someone who's first speaking out my beliefs, always. The whole thing with the beard and the visual appearance is quite strong. What I did not expect it in the first place when I decided to become a bearded lady. I just thought, that's fun. Let's go with it. But yeah, people really immediately would give me the side eye. Even in a community where you might think that everybody's very open-minded and tolerant, and they would say like things like, "Well, you're not doing drag if you have a beard," and all that. And then I started to wait a moment. We are this community asking to be respected, and you don't respect what I do. It started as a very natural move for me to say, excuse me, I'm that's none of your business. I'm not hurting you, and I'm respectful. So, but yeah, in general, I really do believe that if you focus on the good things in life, good things will happen. So,
No,
I mean,
agree.
it's quite naive, I know.
No, I agree
But,
with you. I think it's real. I think that's very real. When did Conchita come? When did you meet Conchita?
Well, a friend of mine, she offered me to host her burlesque show, which was weekly every Saturday. And I said, well, I could do it in drag. And she said, well, yeah, that would be fun. After that, I found out that I would have to shave week by week. And I hate my face beardless. I look like 12 still. And so I asked her, hey, would you be fine by having a bearded lady as a host? And she was totally excited about that. So I just, I just did it.
You've been working really hard at your singing and your craft and performing and that sort of thing for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden it seems like overnight you are
Totally.
so famous and everybody knows who you are. How is it like, okay, now I was born for this, I can do this, this is fine, or is it a lot to handle?
I have to be completely honest. I always wanted to be famous from a very young age, and I always wanted to be the center of attention. I always wanted to show people what I got, and that never changed. So I really enjoy living this kind of life, and I don't take it for granted though, because it really is a privilege, and I think the group of people on this planet who are actually able to do what they love the most and make a living out of it, that's a very small group. So I'm working very hard that I'm able to do that for the rest of my life. And yeah, but I really do enjoy it. If paparazzis following me in the street of Paris, I'm more than happy to give them the fame hand. I like that.
When you're walking around the streets of Paris, are you Conchita or are you Tom? And is Tom the same personality as Conchita?
Well, I am slightly different when I don't wear makeup and a wig, but I think that is something that everyone in media knows, right? I think even you put on a little makeup, and that's basically your stage persona. You know what I mean? I think everyone got their own things going on. Well, when we talk about Paris, obviously I don't live in Paris, but when I walk the streets in Paris, it's for business or for work, so I would be totally dressed up. And most of the time I'm there because of Fashion Week, and that's why all the paparazzis are there, because
Yes.
otherwise they couldn't care less about me. But so yeah, that's always a nice experience.
Paris Fashion Week, I've never been. Is
You
it
have
amazing?
to go. It is overwhelming.
Yes.
Yeah. As a fashion student, hearing all those names for years and years and years, and then at some point, like being some kind of friends with some of them, that's just really not happening in
Yes.
my little universe.
Do you get to wear their designs when you go?
Of course.
That's the best part.
Yeah, it's really great, and it's it's still now till this day. Once all the things arrive, the first thing I would do is I turn them around and look how they made it. So my stylist and I, we really have a great time.
Do you think you're going to have a line one day?
Well, I would never say never. I would definitely love to work with fashion in the future more, but now I experienced and I started to writing songs like 6 months ago. And this is so strong, and the whole process is so intense that now I really don't understand how I ever could live without that, because it's very intimate and emotional, and you really get to know yourself better actually. So music is even more now the love of my life, so obviously fashion's gonna step back a little.
It goes hand in hand though. All
Yeah,
those
that's
creative worlds, they sort of slip into each other.
Exactly.
What do you think makes a good song? Because your songs are so heartfelt. I love a ballad. Is that your kind of music?
Definitely. I grew up listening to Shirley Bassey, so I
Yes.
think that probably really turned me into a certain direction until this very day. I mean, I'm allowed to sing at the Sydney Opera House, so obviously I'm gonna do a bunch of Shirley Bassey songs, just
course.
to entertain myself and
Yes.
bore everybody else. But yeah, this is probably the strongest emotion that I have, like this dramatic orchestra and beautiful lyrics, and probably that's also why I immediately knew that Rise Like a Phoenix was the song for the Eurovision Song Contest.
How did that come about, that song?
After the announcement that I would be like the contestants, we started immediately to look for songs, because I did not write songs back then, so we had to hope that good stuff will come in. And when I heard Rise Like a Phoenix the first time, we already had 5 songs fully produced.
Really?
And we thought, wow, now we got like 2-3 more weeks, and we really can figure out what is the best song, what is good for radio, and blah blah blah. And then I got an email by my manager and with 5 more songs, and he said, let's just be fair, listen to them, and then we can say them. I'm sorry, we already got our song. And one of those songs was Rise Like a Phoenix. And I heard it, and I immediately texted Renee by saying, we have a problem, because this is the song. We thought, okay, 3 weeks, a full orchestra recording, that should be possible.
From the fading light of fire, rise like a phoenix, out of the ashes seeking rather than vengeance.
You know what my favourite part is? That performance. The cameras coming in and just the wind.
Yeah.
That is all my dreams come true.
Yeah.
In one moment.
I know.
I love it.
It's so ridiculous. I know. But that's
You're
Eurovision,
Beyonce.
isn't it? No,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. Beyonce is not cheesy, but she's
Beyonce
over the top.
has a wind machine wherever she goes.
Exactly. But
It's like God
Eurovision.
just blowing
she
air
is.
on her hair.
She's Jesus.
She is
Yeah.
Jesus.
She is.
Now that I've got to experience Eurovision, I mean, as a guest, not as a performer,
Yeah.
obviously, but it is unbelievable.
Yeah.
We had the greatest time ever.
Oh, that's
But
great.
just the machine of it, it was so amazing to watch the
Yeah.
whole thing unfold. Did you have a feeling while you were in it that maybe you could win?
No.
Not
no.
at all.
Because the people around me, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, they got the chance to really like talk to producers, you know, get opinions of journalists and all that stuff. But I was just so focused on those 3 minutes, I wouldn't even dare to think about that I could potentially be a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially I'm from Austria, you know, and I'm a drag queen on top.
Yes.
So that's not gonna happen.
Yes.
But, yeah.
How was your grandmother that day?
Well, not too good, if I'm honest. Yeah, because that was too much for her to take. Yeah, I called her the day after that, and she answered the phone by saying, "I can't right now." And I'm like, "Okay."
You're a role model, you know, someone that
Yeah.
stands for. I know it
Yeah.
makes you uncomfortable
Yeah.
to be that. I can understand why, because
Yeah.
you're just being who you are,
Exactly.
and it's hard to have that pressure.
Yeah. Well, I don't really feel the pressure because I constantly say it, and I think if people have expectations, you know, I really try to get rid of expectations at all because you get disappointed like 80% of the time, and I really don't like to disappoint myself. But if people would expect me to say or do certain things and I don't do it, you know, I'm sorry, but I never promised anything but being myself and saying what I think is right.
Is this the dream? Are you living the dream?
Definitely. Winning such a huge contest and getting the chance to be recognized and also be recognized on a business side, that is basically artistic freedom. But I have to be completely honest, I don't want the Eurovision to be the only highlight in my career.
Of course.
I want a Grammy. Even if I don't get a Grammy, I will experience so many beautiful things, you know. And at the end of the day, I always say it's entertainment and not a heart surgery. And I will forever find a way to remain happy because I know myself. You know, even if this is over tomorrow, I mean, I will be, you know, devastated. But, you know, after a while, I will definitely come back on my feet and just do my thing.
Happiness. That's a great attitude.
Yeah.
Who's your singing icon besides Shirley Bassey?
Well, I love Laura Mvula. Do you know her? She's an English singer. She's a composer as well, and she's just beyond fabulous. It's a black, beautiful woman with such a beautiful voice. So she's currently like my all the time playlist.
You're gonna say Guy Sebastian. But
Well, listen. When we talk about Guy, you're not the best person to talk about Guy because you would get mad at me.
why?
Because I'm a little bit in love with your husband.
Are you?
I'm sorry.
Oh no. Okay.
Is there a liquor in the tea?
You are you have been very kind. And you're gonna sing with him at the Opera House.
Exactly.
I can't wait to hear that.
I was so happy that he agreed to do it because, you know, he's a huge star. So I'm happy that he's on my
No,
show.
of course. No, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I want to thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
For joining me today
Thank you for
and
having me.
making the time and just being such a beautiful human being.
Oh, thank you so much.
Beautiful soul.
Well, likewise, it was
ridiculously
beautiful
talented.
talking to you.
If you ever need a stylist.
Yeah, I know. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
And for the cameras, there is liquor in the tea.